So you've just learned about the elements of a traditional plot chart, but our story isn't quite traditional or normal. This story is a little different because our main character is on a quest. And you just learned that a quest is a journey to save something or someone, to search for something. So Milo is on a journey in search of something. And the plot of a hero's quest story shares many of the same elements as a traditional plot, but there are some key differences. So Milo's journey in the Phantom Tollbooth resembles the plot of a hero's quest. So let's go over the parts of a hero's quest. Just like the traditional plot flowchart, the hero's quest starts with an exposition. That happens right at the beginning, and it includes the characters, setting, and situation, just like in the traditional. So we know that the exposition of our story is we have Milo, and he's on this journey with Talk, and they start off in Milo's room, and then they go on to the Kingdom of Wisdom and the lands beyond. And the situation is that Milo discovers a toll booth in his room. He enters and begins a journey. So that is the same.
Your bus is here.
In the traditional plot chart, we then get to the conflict. And here, this is the conflict and the call. So not just is there a problem, but there is also going to be an invitation or a call for the hero to agree to find or search for something. This is when they find that there needs to be something going on to save the world. So I think about when Milo was having the conversation with Faintly Macabre, and she's explaining the backstory of the Kingdom of Wisdom, and she's saying, you know, everything used to make sense, and then I was thrown in jail, and the kings were in trouble. And so they called on Rhyme and Reason, and Rhyme and Reason were supposed to settle the debate, but they didn't, and so they were cast away. And since they've been in the castle in the air, things haven't made sense. The Lethargerians don't get anything done. The word market is where they're buying any words, and the king's advisors can use whatever words they want. And the only way to get me, sweet little old Faintly Macabre, out of this prison is to bring back Rhyme and Reason. So that's the call. They need to bring Rhyme and Reason back to the Kingdom of Wisdom. Where in a traditional plot story, we have the rising action. In a hero's quest, we have the challenges. These are the things, the obstacles they're going to face along the way. And we know that in our story, some of those challenges are going to involve the demons. So when I think about maybe where we are on this plot, I think maybe we're right here, that we're about to find out what the challenges are, what has to be done to save the kingdom. Then we get to that highest point in the story, just like in the traditional plot chart, the climax, the highest point of the adventure. In the hero quest, this is where we find out, will the hero succeed or not? Do they do it? This is that moment, the moment we're all waiting for. Then we get, as the story starts to kind of draw to an end, and we're about to wrap up the tail end of the story, we get to the transformation. And the transformation is where we see how the character has changed. This is where we see, what did the hero learn in the journey? And how does that character change? Remember, when we added to our character chart for Milo, I said the first two sticky notes were Milo at the beginning. He was bored. He was always unhappy. How does he change towards the end? This is where he transforms. All the little nuggets of wisdom he's learned along the way, how does that change him as a character? And then where in a traditional plot story or a plot flowchart, we have the resolution. In the hero's quest, we have the return. This is where the character goes back to his everyday life and is a changed person. So how does Milo's life change as a result of this journey he went on? Please make sure that you've added these parts onto your Cornell notes.